Hey everybody, this is Alexander A. Manzoni, and we're going to be doing part 2 of American Carnage, Eaglemann's Covfefe chapter. Alright. And if you're not, then you must obviously be an unpatriotic, spineless, bleeding heart, Euro-loving coward. Republican words, not mine. To which I say, if anyone with a badge or a laminated government ID hanging off their neck asks, you didn't hear this from me, but more likely than not, the secret police are on their way to your house right now. To do what exactly? Well, if you're lucky, they're probably just going to take you to Gitmo instead of killing you in an alley somewhere. Although not the tower itself at first, but they'll definitely work you up to it. If you've got the chops to survive in that dank pit of madness and insanity and injustice. Sexual, racial, and other kinds. Here's that revised travel ban you asked for, Mr. President, said Bo as he shoved another paper, another executive order under Eaglemann's well-forested nose. Maybe this time people get the idea. It mentioned Eaglemann gazing down at the document with utmost contempt. The Muslims had already been banned from the country a long while back. This travel ban banned people who looked like they could be from those Muslim majority countries, as well as those countries perceived to have a Muslim majority. Whether these were Muslim majority during our time, 2017, is up for debate. And here are those nations as they are listed. And I list off a whole lot of nations. Let's just go to the next paragraph. Basically, if it was in Africa and it wasn't South Africa, then it was on the list. If it was the Middle East, it was definitely on the list. Luckily, these days, the Republicans didn't have to worry much about those pesky lawbringers holed up at the Taco Supreme Court, because they did whatever they were told to without extensive inquiry. Unlike these democratic schmucks who are always complaining about this injustice or that. Oh. You know, the kind of matters that were inconsequential to the big picture billionaire Republican bottom line. Their continued existence was almost entirely the fault of the liberal elite of New York and Hollyweird LA. People with too much money and clout to kill without being noticed. Nobody cared about the faceless citizens that were sucked into the Republican meat grinder daily. But when a celebrity disappeared in such a fashion, ooh, well, people weren't as quick to forget them, even when they were commanded to. The Reaganizer learned this lesson when he dispatched a well-known director, Mervyn McClintock, back when Eaglemann was tweezing his own testicles and greasing his own damn weird-looking game show host-style golden hair pieces before he became one of the biggest names in history ever. So huge, so big, so huge, it's unbelievable, oh my god, it's just so big, you would never believe how big it is. And you know what else is unbelievable? Climate change! It's not a thing. No, really, it is a thing. No, it isn't. No, my man, Joe, okay, he's the head of the EDA, Environmental Destruction Association, because EPA had been torpedoed and sunk to the bottom of the political sea by long-dead genteel southern fried mummies. Joe says that climate change is due to all these Muslims burning American flags and camel shit back in their countries. And I, for one, place my complete trust in my cousin Joe. We cut to the Environmental Destruction Agency HQ, Executive Suite, Washington, D.C., RSA. Don't worry about where y'all dumping that shit. My cousin Joe's head of the EDA. At that moment, unbeknownst to the rest of the nation, Joe Eaglemann was face first down on his desk, snoozing in a puddle of his own clear saliva. 2 trash cans were in the corner. One for trash was filled over to the top in crumpled governmental papers and old Covfefe grounds. Oh, were strewn onto the floor with nary a care. The other can was for recycling. Say it with me. Recycling. And you know what was in that can? Nothing. And you know what? There never was. Never, ever. Though Eaglemann could give 2 flying fucks otherwise, the need for a faint mirror of legitimacy was deteriorating. shrinking by the second. Eaglemann was proud to think that one day there would be no need at all for this slapdash chicanery. Cousin Joe had a remote device installed in his brain so that Eaglemann could control him when the need presented itself. That was one of the prerequisites that Royal Eaglemann made abundantly clear before handing over such a position. One of the others was a complete lack of self-respect, as well as a subservient willingness to be thrown under the bus if it was so deemed by the Republican good God, whatever they wanted to call him. Cousin Joe's experience with the environment was mostly in the field. That is, when he was in the field pumping out his septic trucks in the local streams and waterways to avoid having to pay to have it dealt with by the good people at whatever sewage treatment facilities that were in the area at that time. Oh, Cousin Joe was a snake. Eaglemann loved him to death as much as he could love another man in a brotherly way without seeming too gay, because that was illegal. Illegal. Totally. Remember, Cousin Joe used to say when they were doing the weird things that children do when left to their own devices, it's only gay if the balls touch. Yeah, there was a little bit of hanky-panky going on back then. Same as now. Of course, it was Cousin Joe. If Cousin Joe mentioned a word of it to anybody in these times, well, even being Eaglemann's cousin wouldn't save his ass from Gitmo. He wouldn't be the first relative that Eaglemann imprisoned for life or had uneventfully disposed of and or subsequently buried by spurious midnight means. Not the first and not the last. Eaglemann had plenty of kin to pull from, if necessary. That's the end of that, and I hope you enjoyed that, and there'll be a lot more videos coming, and have a good day, have a good Monday.